I'm so bored. Welcome to At the Leeches that steal from me, steal my homes, and my vehicles, and try to. Anyways, I spilled the water on my shirt as I was walking in the Carver Library. I didn't die last night. The breeze was good in my apartment. I don't have electricity currently in my apartment. I come from a long line of leeches. And I'm only one of a few of people that has achieved adulthood, isn't a sex addict, isn't a rapist, murderer, thief. So I'm celebrated in so many places. Anyways, I'm checking the status of my footsteps. Yikes. Doesn't seem like they got approved or maybe that one finished. Reviewing my case. It's March 23, 2025. You can decapitate everyone that steals my money. You can decapitate everyone that gets in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate everyone that stayed in my home last night without my permission. You can decapitate everyone that stole my vehicle this morning. What else? What else? I'm tagging the FBI in this post, NATO, the Department of Homeland Security, the Justice Department. In the United States, the International Criminal Court, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Marines, even though the International Criminal Court exists, I'm seeking the death penalty for everyone that stayed in my homes without my permission, everyone that steals my money, everyone that gets in the way of me receiving money. You can start with Benjamin Suarez and Sassans that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. It's March 23rd, 2025. You can decapitate Junis and Daliris and Suarez because the leech stays in my homes without my permission, steals my vehicles, gets in the way of me receiving money and steals my money. She said to me decades ago that she steals my money and gets in the way of me receiving money so that me and my unborn children at the time would get raped. I'm being hypocritical by not letting her rape my children. Did she rape Dana and Kenlon? She's so gross. I imagine she would be like, without me having ever introduced them to her. La tipa una puerca, la tipa una puerca. You can decapitate Jennifer Marie Vasquez, steals my money and gets away with receiving money. What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate Junis and Daliris and Di Lorenzo for bullying me on the Messenger in 2020. You can decapitate Guillermo Muñoz Carrero for stealing James and Kaylani's child support money. You can decapitate Gilbert Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Evelyn Yvette Lorenzo Acevedo. They thought that I would expose like 30 years of ella sandungueando con el dinero que me roba. Fue una puerca, eso no se exhibe. For real. For real. Ew, 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 ew. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. That double D is so annoying. Just hiding the comments because it could be one of these leeches pretending that I'm like here with her. Don't worry, guys. She didn't eat breakfast, but I'm here with her in the library. That's what they want to play. Porque these are sex addicts que quieren imaginarse que uno le está mamando la tota todo el tiempo y que una no necesita comida. Y agua. Ew, 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 ew. You can decapitate Berenice Venegas that wants to rape me still. For. Ew. You can decapitate everyone in my family of origin that caused more than 8 million people to die trying to rape me. So, in retaliation, my parents, my siblings, their relatives, and their neighbors, and colleagues for the most, go on to kill people. I have a history of doing that. You can decapitate the leech. Qué asco. People call him asco in Aguada, Puerto Rico. Ew, they're disgusting. And then they go asco uno, asco dos, asco tres, asco cuatro. Que tan puercos que son. You can decapitate my homie and assistants that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money so I suffer. They want to rape me. So because I don't let them rape me, they want me to suffer. Son unos brutos, una asquerosidad, unos puercos. Ew, 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 ew. That's me every day. I'll show you my GoFundMe campaign soon. Yeah, I haven't checked my emails. Maybe I've received some money. I just currently checked my Texas health benefits and my next deposit for food stamps is on the 25th. So in 2 more days, I spend my night eating bread, opening lunch. What else? What else? I don't have money for food. I have like $7 right now that I have to split between like a gallon of water, some more bananas, a yogurt. What else? 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 I'm so bored. I'm so bored. I'm so bored. 0 people are watching when I like this post. What else? I miss shopping. What's one more? What else? What else? What happened to Easter? What else? 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 Back to this. What is the newest election? I want to visit. It has the trios bar. If I remember the name. If not, newest today, not like in 3 years. There could be a different then. What else? What else? So bored. So bored. Checking my spam folder. Maybe that guy that was messaging me is dead already. The one that was happy that my mother died. What else? 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 So bored. I want to read a book. Are those leeches? They think that they're sapiosexual. They have group chats with people from CNN, from the FBI, and they're like, this isn't a pleasant library visit. I can't follow her as an influencer. They starve me on purpose just to surround themselves with elite because they get there, believe it or not. I don't know how. Anyone can, basically. And they take them hostage for being elite. What else? What else? So I'm managing this for the past 5 years. They're like, this isn't a sexy library visit. They want to rape me, so they starve me, so I'm suffering. And then they want to comment like, who had the sexiest library visit with them? I'm not a part of that. I don't want to ever be a part of their life. They're disgusting. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate Claudia Gabriela Martinez Urias that stays in my homes without my permission, eats my food and drinks my water without my permission. You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo that wants to rape me because I refuse to do that. She steals my money so that I'm obligated to work. As so I suffer from not being hands-on with Jada and Kehlani, and also so that I suffer as punishment for not letting her rape me. She's disgusting. Anyways, there's law books here. I saw something earlier. I'll trial. Anyways. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate Munoz Guerrero and steal statements and Kehlani's child support money. You can decapitate David Ledesma that raped me when I was a lot younger. However, he raped me again when I was in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Those leeches, they don't want me to go on dates because they're disgusting. They support rape. They're so gross. Besides, like the experience of having babies with him, amazing as a father, but I didn't know that he would turn into that person. He listened, took me to hotels. However, it's making me suffer financially, so I exposed him. Some people don't get the hint sometimes. She's falsely bragging that she rented her home to someone now has another source of income and moved into my home with him. Like that home is meant for him to be with Jaden and Kehlani and himself alone. Not to bring a hoe in there that causes so much stress to the man. If that's his home with the kids. And I visited her home. Habitat for Humanity gave her a home, supposedly. What else? What else? What else? What does she do with the money that she steals? What else? 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 They thought that my mother is dead, and now I'm like, oh, Lucy. This kid wants to kill me for decades because I didn't have a grandma while growing up. Her grandpa died in 2020 or 2021. Yikes. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Unos puerco, una asquerosidad. They asked my parents to starve me decades ago, trying to rape me. They're disgusting. This leech told Edgar to never take me to a hotel. He asked Edgar to never give me money so I can't flee. I've never had sex with him. I'm so happy about that. El tipo es un puerco. ¿Cuántos cruceros he's taking himself on with money that he steals from me? El tipo es una asquerosidad. All of them are. All of them are. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate Carolina Chavez that stays in my homes without my permission, steals my money, steals my food, steals my water, steals my vehicles, gets in the way of me receiving money. I don't need to work. I don't want to work. You can decapitate La Lich, Marilyn Lorenzo, que me roba mi dinero and gets in the way of me receiving money. She's just fantasizing about a threesome with Elon Musk and myself and her here. She's disgusted. Una puerca, una asquerosidad, una sex addict, una basura. You can decapitate everyone that has caused my anxiety, my depression, my dyspnea, my tachycardia, my anxiety, my mild dehydration. My family of origin, for the most part, has a pattern of stealing from people and then causing eviction so that one dies. I know the pattern of abuse from them, so I just don't talk to them. I haven't talked to Edgar in more than 4 years. I haven't talked to anyone in my family of origin in more than 4 years. I haven't talked to these leeches in more than 20 years. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Just because some of us were Facebook friends doesn't mean that we were friends. I suffer from amnesia. So I was already typed good morning to Lonnie and Jada. I suffer from amnesia, so I had been adding on Facebook the leeches that steal from me and get in the way of me receiving money that I'm killing in self-defense with me. You can decapitate Felipe Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Jadiel Lorenzo Chaparro. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Richie Hill that raped me in 2023. He possibly trafficked me into poverty, trying to rape me because I lost interest in him decades ago. What was he, like 5 years old? In my bedroom, pretending to have sex with my sibling on my sibling's bed while this. And I had been talking about birth control, moving in Richie, him and I together. What else? 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 I'm at the Insect Garden next week. You can decapitate me. How many sons and sons that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money? You can decapitate Munoz Carrero that steals my money and that steals Jaden and Kaylani's child support money. Well, CPS Energy. One person's watching to have like this post. I want to visit Jaden and Kaylani in Tampa next week. I want to eat at Brio. I want to shop at International Plaza and Bay Street. I want to shop at Hyde Park Village, eat at Daily, eat some breakfast from First Watch right now. I don't have money. I want to eat a green lemon. I want to drink coffee from Muddy Brew. I want to shop at Jaden Kaylani and Magic Kingdom. Eat at my little bakery and my son sandwiches. I want to dance at the Castle, Pizza, Ybor City. I want to stay with Jaden Kaylani at Precarian Hotel. I want to take Jaden and Kaylani shopping at the shops at Wiregrass and the outlets at Wesley Chapel. I want to eat with Jaden and Kaylani at Burger 21. I want to take myself to South Carolina in June. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, I have the Wi-Fi set up for my phone here, and I don't have file center on my phone. You can decapitate me. How means what? Sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. For leeches. What else? They've been raping for more than 30 years. They held me back from raping by stealing my money, getting in the way of me receiving money, and asking my parents to starve me. So no puerco, one burger, or a waffle from First Watch. Anyways, Possibly my siblings hire so many people to tell them how they feel about me, and they scream at them, and hasta los violan. Yeah, that one asco. What else? What's the disconnection notice? Now show up on the phone screen. Anyway, that having had sex today. So you can decapitate me, how many sons and sons that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money so that I can't have sex. You can decapitate everyone that steals my money today, March 23, 2025. You can decapitate everyone that gets in the way of me receiving money. It's March 23rd, 2025. I plan to travel the planet and meet people, ideally polyamorous men. When I'm financially stable, no one owns my vagina but me. So you can decapitate those leeches that think that they have first dibs of my vagina and starve me on purpose. They're so gross. Ew, 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 ew. Ew, que gente tan puerca. Anyways, it doesn't show here. They're trying to they starve me on purpose by stealing my money and getting in the way of me receiving money. They're trying to start a conversation with me where they would at least sexually harass me. My siblings se muere por decirme she wants to give me a spanking after I have kids. Ew. Ew, ew, ew. So that was my reaction. I'm like, I don't want my sibling talking to me that way. So they use starvation. So that one says, hey, I need money. And they're, how about I give you a spanking? They don't know how to have conversations with people. They are always gauging. They're like, so when in a conversation could I tell someone that I want to give it a spanking? It's like you have to be natural. That's it. They don't understand what being natural is. They think that's right. They're always looking for an excuse for rape back then and always looking for an excuse to justify their gross behavior. Ew, 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 ew. Anyways, when do I get money? What do I delete here so that I can take a picture? I know mean Son's sons want to kill me because apparently my mother wasn't a virgin when she had me. She had already had 3 kids. Esos tipos son unos puercos, una asquerosidad. Ew, 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 ew. Ew, ew, ew. What else? What else? What else? I missed Dana. I missed Kailani. Oh, I took screenshots yesterday. So yes. I shared on Instagram. And then another screenshot that didn't take properly, so I didn't share yesterday, but I'll share it on Facebook and start. I can start posting on Facebook again on April 3rd. Should be killing people in self-defense. What else? What else I posted about it on Facebook, and Facebook gave me a month. Laridam. So this is so me. This is so me. Not for selling the home house, for definitely for using it. However, it's customary that it gets that if one builds a home, ideally one should think about more than 2 people in a shower. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What other screenshot did I take yesterday? Oh, I need to fill out an FBI TIF form. Oh, this is also my trip, I think. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Those leeches that stay in my homes without my permission go around showing their pictures. Look how we deceive our name is Then when I was going, they're exhausting and how gross they are. That's why I don't talk to them, because they kill people out of exhaustion. Anyways, I read this. This is so good. This is so good. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm so bored. Some people think that that's a buzz that people want right away to drink and then rape. So that's why shots have a bad connotation. Like, if I just get drunk, then I won't feel anything. Esa gente son unos puercos. Ew, 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 ew. Ew, 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 ew. You can decapitate these leeches that rape. They're disgusting. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. I'm hungry. I don't have food. I don't have money. Oh, did I not take a screenshot? So you can decapitate everyone that steals my money, that gets in the way of me receiving money. It's March 23rd, 2025. You can decapitate everyone that stays in my homes without my permission. You can decapitate everyone that drives my vehicles without my permission. Anyways, FBI took for maybe an international criminal court. I'll share that again today. They tried to condition me decades ago that when I thought about the International Criminal Court that I would contact these leeches decades ago. They're like, they visited my parents' home. They're like, any International Criminal Court, contact us, contact us. Ew, ew, ew. Send this on a puerco. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? My feet hurt. I'm still tired. And I want to shop today. Could be shopping with Jaden Kinlon. You want to shop H&M. I want to. What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate Lisa Acevedo Cordero. She's alive for neglecting me. You can decapitate Ramon Lorenzo Lorenzo. You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Giva Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. Even though the International Criminal Court exists, you can decapitate Maria de Aviles Lorenzo that steals my money and stays in my homes without my permission with these leeches pretending to be me. Yeah. They're disgusting. Ew, ew, ew. If a person doesn't have sex with one just needs to shut off. That won't not be like, then I'll just go on like hiring people or anyone que se me pare al frente. Like las leeches esas dan un asco porque what they do is they prey on to finding personal details of one's lives. And then they'll say to them, well, Arlene hoy lo que comió fue peanut butter con pan, dijo en el internet, yo soy mejor mujer que ella, mamá me la mí. I'm not an illegal prostitute. They try to copy me or try to position themselves as better than me. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate las leeches y los leeches that stay in my homes without my permission. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. What else? 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 Don Moscow. Yeah. Anyways, International Criminal Court. You can decapitate Luis Lorenzo that tried to rape me. You can decapitate los liches estos basura que se la pasan diciendo todavía a la gente no le den dinero, ya va a vivir con Luis Lorenzo. Even if I were to live with someone, I need my own money. El tipo es un puerco. When I was 5 years old, they spelled out to me that they're going to treat me like Latina poor because I refuse to have sex with them. And I realized that they're sex addicts, very girls at the people in school that they used to claim that they were. Very gross people. Una basura, una asquerosidad. So they said, like, we're gonna get Luis Lorenzo to rape you. They studied my primas. Did one of them actually didn't have a grandma? They study poor people in the family, and they're like, if you cut off all the money and if you start talking about the lady's discharge, people might believe you that it's not healthy when it is, even if it is. But that's a way of them to terrorize people. People say, and people generally just identify them as terrorists and not necessarily believe that one's discharge isn't healthy. They're just gross. So they said to me, they warned me that Luis Lorenzo was going to rape me. And then they warned me that Hector Soto was going to rape me in school, in high school. And then they warned me that if I didn't let them rape me, they would go on to have sex with Gloria Nilsa while I was in school. I don't want anything to do with these leeches. They're not attractive to me. My parents initiated me in sex with them decades ago. Ew, ew, ew. I don't ever want to have sex with Benjamin Suarez and his sons. They're disgusting. Ew, 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 ew. You can decapitate Luis Lorenzo. You can decapitate Hector Soto. What else? 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 So the OTP link. Where they possibly already confessed for the past 30 years, being in my home without my permission, stealing my vehicles, everything that they buy for people with money that they steal from me. They possibly just sent all the evidence themselves. Supposedly, they said to me when I was 19 that they have a hate crime towards me for refusing to have sex with them, so that they were going to document everything that they did for the past 30 years trying to get me to kill myself. They already tried that. It's so disgusting to me. Gender and Societies tried to rape me in my teens. Well, they showed me videos and pictures of how they rape each other. They're so gross. You can decapitate Jimmy Dendalitis Lorenzo Suarez. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons. Then rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. Anyways, I'm just filling out another form once more. A form to the International Criminal Court. I'm a victim of genocide. My 2 children are away from me, and I'm in the United States where resources are plenty. I'm an American citizen. I have a social security. I was born in Puerto Rico. I should be able to get to Puerto Rico as well at any time that I want, just for leisure. And I don't have any money. That's not normal. You can decapitate Gloria Nirsa Acevedo Cordero. She's alive. You can decapitate Ramon Lorenzo. No, decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo con a leech. Me roba mi dinero. Mis crushes. Da un asco. Not even recreationally. And not even like, oh, I was at a bar accidentally. And ran into Pablito and fucked him. And then I went my way. And so did he. Ew, like esta gente that I grew up around, viven por galdear pene y cricar por una asquerosidad. Para que la gente no se entere that they're murderers, thieves, and rapists. Full. Ew. And let me turn this is me everything. What else? Sharing my GoFundMe campaign with people through Instagram. What else? You can decapitate me. How many citizens that rape me and steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money? There's some people in Aguada, Puerto Rico that may still have immunity to kill them in self-defense for me and for themselves. Some of their daughters got raped, I heard. So people were upset that instead of fixing the situation, they became confrontational with the dad to the point where the dad had to get a restraining order for himself and the daughter to protect himself and the daughter, I heard. What else? What else? Anyways. What else? Me can decapitate Nereida Galicia. That threatened to kill me when I was 7 years old. Because she and her sisters are fighting over a man. Ew, no, must. What else? So bored. You can decapitate Rebecca Washington. If she gets in the way of me receiving money, steals my money, stays in my homes without my permission, drives my vehicles without my permission. You can decapitate Amanda Lane Herrera. You can decapitate Sarah Francis. You can decapitate Berenice Venegas. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. Who else? Who else? Who else? You can decapitate Evelyn de Jesus. You can decapitate Katie Leon. You can decapitate Yesenia Nieves if she isn't dead. You can decapitate Monica Pacheco if she gets in the way of me receiving money, steals my money, still stays in my homes without my permission, drives my vehicles without my permission. You can decapitate Rosaura Soto Rosa that bullied me through Facebook in 2020. You can decapitate behind me and Suarez sons of sons that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Donnell Briggs. You can decapitate Erica Gardapi. You can decapitate Annalyn Villa Gomez. You can decapitate Diony Laguana. You can decapitate. Oh, this is a case of like when I think I can do the killings myself, but I'm overwhelmed. What else? 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 So maybe someone in the FBI says you needed to report the abuse towards you a little bit more often so that this would have been taken care of sooner. But there's the case of me thinking, I've heard about that before, that I can do the killing in self-defense for myself of those leeches that I grew up around that steal my money. So I'm just like, well, if I run into them, I'll kill them. And then I'm like, whatever. I'm eating. I don't want to let go of my Messon sandwiches to kill Jennifer Mari Vasquez. If they see one, I've heard that they say hi to one para poder caminar tranquila hacia el carro. If one is like in an area where one can see them busy, but not that busy, then one can run towards them and kill them. So just because she stopped and Messon sandwiches while I was eating there with Ager one day, said hi to me, doesn't mean that she and I are friends. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Anyways, I'm currently trying to send. Oh, I didn't. Did I take that screenshot? Maybe I didn't. What is it that I need to do to take the screenshot? How do I take a screenshot? I forgot. What is this? A Chromebook. Esos nenes todavía son enfrentados. They keep track. Ellos se hacen accountants de la gente full. Ew, ew. What is that? Like a 2-year-old in the body of an adult that pesters. Todavía no hace eso. Él va diciendo, well, did she buy the computer and her phone with her own money? If not, whoever gifted her money needs to get all the GoFundMe money. El tipo un puerco, una asquerosidad. Still, ew. This is me every day. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez sons of sons that rape me, that steal my money, that get in the way of me receiving money, that steal my vehicles. They hire leeches, illegal prostitutes that shouldn't exist, to pretend that they're me while having sex. I never committed to having sex with them every day. I don't know what they're doing. They're delusional, crazy, stupid. Ew. Ew, 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 ew. They're so gross. What else? Control, shift. What else? 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 They want to cry. They do that to try to rape. Have you witnessed that? We put our lives on hold and we didn't get money. Actually, like someone the same day, waiting for you to have kids because we didn't know what day that kid would arrive. Literally, like, así vivían casi mirando dentro de mi tota a ver si el bebé viene o no. Ew, ew, ew. So they want to try to rape me with the excuse that they put their lives on hold and didn't achieve anything, just waiting for that special moment to rape me. Ew. Dan un asco. Son una asquerosidad. You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Giver Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate everyone that gets in the way of me receiving money. What else? What else? What else? This is so funny. It's that window. Is the control in the window icon? Maybe. I'm complicating it. Oh, I did take it. Yes. Anyways, what else? What else? What else? What else? I want to eat at first watch today, not on money first. You can decapitate me, how many soldiers on the sons that make me to steal my money, that get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Claudia Gabriela Martinez that stayed in my homes without my permission, that steals my money, that eats my food and drinks my water without my permission. You can decapitate Gaminos Carrera that steals data money. You can decapitate everyone that has trafficked me into poverty. What else? 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 I'm hungry and I don't want to eat chips just right now. Should be eating breakfast or brunch. I'm gonna shop at H&M today. You can decapitate la lich de Senia Ramirez Lorenzo, esa tipa una puercafo. You can decapitate everyone that has caused Dana and Gilani to be separated from me. You can decapitate Carol Cristina, la lich asquerosa, esa that steals my money, gets in the way of me receiving money. Stays in my homes without my permission, steals my vehicles, son una gente tan puerca. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Yasiel Rivera that tried to rape me in 2020. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, steal my money, and then facilitate people trying to rape me. ¿Da un asco? Yeah. No son hombre. Yeah. You can decapitate Kayla Barnes, que es una cuero. What else? 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 I'm so bored. Is it? Oh, it's the name on the file. Possibly has spaces. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate everyone that steals my money, gets in the way of me receiving money, steals my money. Stays in my homes without my permission and drives my vehicles without my permission. It's March 2025. I rename it. Opening. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I need to send proof that my electricity is shut off my apartment. But I'm waiting. Maybe to name that document and then see if it'll send. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that threaten me that they'll starve me until my fingers hurt. Decades ago. How do they do it? How do they get in the way of people gifting me money? They're so disgusting. For 30 years, they've been asking people for money for me. Possibly people think, like, why does she need more money? And it's shocking that people still in 2025 want to rape. Yeah, they're disgusting. What else? 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 This is so slow. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo. Steal my money so my fingers hurt. Okay, John, whatever the penis says, they follow. They're sex addicts. They're so gross. They're trying to find marriage through killing people. Ew, 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 ew. You can decapitate Caro Cristina, whatever her last name is, that killed Gloria Mirza Acevedo Cordero. What else? 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 I missed it. I miss Kehlani. Could be shopping for myself. Dating Kehlani today. Could be in Tampa. Jaden Kehlani could be with me. Jaden Kehlani and I could be somewhere else for fun. These leeches have tried to take over my finances so that they always know where I'm at and so I'm not free to date and have fun. Well, they're like en mi visa. Bien, unos puercos, like oink oink. Los tres cerditos, una asquerosidad, people call them. An embarrassment to society. Ew, 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 ew. Dan un asco, gente, son una basura. Una asquerosidad because they're death penalty candidates and they know it and people know. They know that there's people out there that has immunity to kill them. They go on to starve one and steal one's money so that one doesn't roam freely through life happily. For them to get off that they're starving one. Eso boast behind the scenes. Eso tipo una puerca, una asquerosidad. Ew, 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 ew. Ew, ew, ew. Dan un asco, son una basura. Son una basura. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? So I'm being patient until someone gives me money so I can live again. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Bored. I'm starving. I'm ready for food. Anyways, I'll just send this form with the proof that my electricity bill's fast too. What else? 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 All these leeches se quieren hacer por esposa de Edgar. Have you heard them? They're like, we're just starving her with the excuse that they just want to know if I bathe with Edgar or no, because then they're Edgar's spouse, that they need to know if I bathe with Edgar or no. They're so girls, they're legal prostitutes. So they go on catering to people and they're like, Edgar, if you've never had a woman shower with you, we'll shower with you. So that's basically what they do. They prey on to people. They try to find out people's sex lives. And because they're so gross and disgusting, they may get like a good lay every once in a while if they're like around people that don't know how disgusting they are. However, they're just finding out personal details while they starve me on purpose of my life to try, because they're sex addicts, to try to position themselves as, well, that's my husband. I need to know if when she lived with him, she was showering with him. Ew, una gente tan puerca, una asquerosidad. Eso no se pregunta, eso no se averigua, eso uno asume que eso se hace siempre, or like blocks it off one mind. They're disgusting. These people are disgusting. Anyways, what else? What else? What else? I don't have money for food today. No, I'm asking mommy. What else? What else? What else? I'm starving. All I ate this morning was bread with peanut butter and drank some water. I already have a headache. And this is all I had in my pantry. What else? 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 That's all I have for food right now. I don't have any money. And I need to buy a bus pass and pay for my phone soon. I already got a message from AT&T saying that I need to pay for my phone. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez's sons that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money, saying that I should have been paying my electricity and not my phone. That's so I don't seek help from people. That's so that I don't contact the FBI. That's so I don't speak to Jada and Kaylani. So that I'm isolated and I kill myself. I prioritize my needs. I prioritize my finances. I need money for many other things too, anyways. So I don't need to be paying for my phone. I mean, for my electricity and not my phone if I don't want to. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm so bored. I'm so bored. What else? 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 They're behind the scenes while I starve. They're like, but Richie needs to name his favorites. Why didn't she ask Richie for his favorites? She had a conversation with Richie, and we were out there talking on Facebook. And Richie called it a favorite. And we're all reading every day. When is our link gonna show? Or ask Richie who are his favorites to see if we're there. Esta gente da un asco. You can decapitate. David Ledesma. What else? What else? What else? Who wants to claim that he got me wearing lingerie? Ew, 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 ew. What else? 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 Did they kill him after he said that? These leeches. Porque ellas están pendientes a todo. And that's why they steal the money. Ew, 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 ew. You can decapitate me. How many sweaters on his sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate whoever is starving me on purpose just to hear who is Richie's favorite. What else? What else? What else? What else? What was I gonna look for here? What else? You can decapitate David and this one that tried to turn me into a sex slave knowing that I'm starving. He steals my money. El tipo da un asco. Una basura was at a homeless shelter starving. Ew. Blech. You can decapitate David this one that steals my money, gets in the way of me receiving money, stays in my homes without my permission, steals my vehicles, and then try to turn me into a sex slave while he profits of raping me. When was this? Oh, it shows the date there. You can decapitate Leon Baker, traffic me into poverty. That's 2023. You can decapitate Leon Baker that trafficked me into poverty, trying to rape me, trying to take me hostage. Ew, 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 ew. Don Masco. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Lord. You can decapitate me on me and sort of sons of sons that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Aida Acevedo. What else? 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 You should be ashamed of your parents on Facebook. They think that being a daughter is like shameful. Like being a daughter or a son in the regaña. Yeah, yeah. Gente tan puerca que I grew up around. Yeah. Ew, 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 ew. In the meantime, I stayed in. And I miss Kaylani. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Jaden visited me last year in July. I'm hoping to see him often too. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can give me money in person through PayPal, through my GoFundMe campaign. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? That's my GoFundMe campaign. It's gofundme.com/f/Arlene-Lorenzo-Acevedo. These leeches think that with every eviction, every time that I get a disconnection notice, that I lose worth. That's because they're rapists, murderers, thieves, very low level intelligence, very gross is what they are. Ew, 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 ew. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate me, having substance, rape me, steal my money, get me. It's March 23rd, 2025. In the meantime, sending my GoFundMe campaign to people through Instagram. Todas las lichas y los liches se matan entre ellos mismos y entre ellas mismas, wondering si yo mamo pene o no mamo pene, si yo trago semen o no trago semen. They put their lives on hold trying to rape people. Still? Ew. People tell them how gross they look, how gross their relatives look doing that. And they don't get it. Once I'm financially stable, I plan to travel the planet and meet people, ideally polyamorous. I'm excited about that. You can decapitate David Ledesma that raped me in 2017. You can decapitate Michael Norman that raped me in 2016. What else? 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 I missed it. I missed it. Only could have finished a degree already. Been in San Antonio doing nothing literally for the past 2 years. I don't have money for food. I don't have money for water. I don't have money for outfits. I don't have money for entertainment. I don't have money for housing. I don't have money for transportation. And the first time I was gonna take a course. Music degree at San Antonio College that I could have finished this semester. Also, then I couldn't. You can decapitate everyone that steals my money, everyone that gets in the way of me receiving money. My siblings think that they're gonna be like my backpack, literally. My favorite accessory if I go to college. They're so gross. Ellos se quieren dar importancia a las malas. Ellos no entienden. Mataron a Gloria Nisa por brutas. Ew, y bruto. Ew, 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 ew. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receive money. They killed Gloria Nisa Acevedo. Son brutos. I have no anchor in having sex with them whatsoever. My parents initiated me in having sex with them. Had he been like a random walking while I was out and about, maybe I would have had sex with him, but I didn't want a relationship. I don't want to be tied down to that dick 24/7. El tipo es un puerco. Se matan todavía entre ellos mismos trying to rape me. Full. Una asquerosidad. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? They still don't do that part. They still don't understand the concept of out and about. For real. Bored. I ran out of money for food. I had a terrible night last night. I drank water. I ate bread and a banana. Like 3 slices of bread. Kept waking up. That's cute. Can't follow any more people from this account. What else? I want to eat at First Watch today. I don't have money. I want to get an Uber ride. To the one on Blanco. There's a Target there I want to shop too. You can give me money in person through PayPal. PayPal es AR Blue Sky Designs, todo lo que estoy pensando, straight to my heart, and Lorenzo Art. Shop, INTAYIAFAY, I'm Tire Shop. My GoFundMe campaign is gofundme.com/f/Arlene-Lorenzo-Acevedo. What else? I've been homeless for 5 years officially already. Though that was like more like 2016. Wow. What else? You can decapitate la lich que se queda en mi casa sin mi permiso, me roba mi dinero y me roba mis vehículos. Sarah Francis. You can decapitate Berlin Jean. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. That's that my fingers will hurt if I seek for help from people to give me money online. That already happened in 2021, and I've kept typing. I have no obligation of having sex with that leech. And he treats me as disposable. Anyone that has already had sex with him, he gives them my money and pays for massages and food and outings. El tipo un puerco, una asquerosidad. I don't ever want that near me. What else? I can post on Facebook again in 2020. What else? In 2020. On April 3rd. Anyways. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money, that warn me, that they'll, I don't know how, get in the way, terrorizing people, get in the way of me receiving money so that my fingers hurt if I seek for help financially online, exposing that they're leeches and gross instead of letting them rape me. El tipo más puerco del planeta, ew. Da un asco. Ew. And talk to them in decades on purpose. I stopped attending family parties for that reason, so I wouldn't have to run into him. So una asquerosidad. My siblings are gross too. They want to like put it in each other in front of one. Like, you have sex with anyone over here? Having sex? I don't get them. They're so gross. You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Gilbert Lorenzo Acevedo. Those three don't know what sex is. They're so gross. For real. Ew, 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 ew. They're disgusting. What else? 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 You can decapitate Benjamin Soros and his sons, rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money, and possibly say to people, don't give her money, she's going to shower online. Or else to see. You can decapitate Benjamin Soros and his sons that rape me, that possibly tell people a leech approached me in kindergarten. And people know about this because I was so uncomfortable. I'm like, Dad, Mom. This leech Melvin Lorenzo said that I'm gonna marry him one day. I don't want them. So these leeches are so disgusting. They're like, okay, problem solved. Darling está con Melvin Lorenzo. Son una asquerosidad. Ellos no dirigen orgía ni dirigen la vida de una. Yo no entiendo por qué siempre están con esa basura de estar diciendo con quién una persona está o no. Siempre, decades ago. Una asquerosidad. Trying to make themselves look better. Trying to ruin one's reputation. Go wrong, go right. Because they're just so gross, stealing one's money. They're disgusting. I don't want to be talking about them. I don't want to be showing their pictures. I could be shopping right now. I could be eating at First Watch. People get angry in court. I'm at that part. I'm tagging the FBI in this post, NATO, the U.S. Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, the International Criminal Court. I don't know who that is. Possibly one of those leeches. Or someone with their thought process. Could be referencing to the people that abused me. And I don't want to see that type of comment. Or I could be shopping at H&M right now. And I'm starving. I'm starving right now. No money for food. I missed it. I miss money. What else? 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 You can decapitate Benjamin Soros and his sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo steals my money, galdeando mi vagina, trying to control who gets in it or not. That's not what a sister does. They're disgusting. So embarrassing. Yeah, like so embarrassing. Anyways, I keep sharing my truths. What else? 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 You can decapitate Benjamin Soros and his sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. What else? 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 Once I'm financially stable, I plan to travel the planet and meet people, ideally polyamorous men. I'm excited about that. And about toning my body and shopping. I miss cooking for myself. I don't have money for food. I don't have a kitchen to cook in. I could be in a hotel room right now. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I miss dating. I miss Keimani. What else? 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 More. You can decapitate Lorenzo Acevedo Cordero. She's still alive for neglecting me. You can decapitate Ramon Lorenzo Lorenzo. You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Gilbert Lorenzo Acevedo. So bored. I miss Tito Muscanoni. You can decapitate Igor Munoz Carrero that steals students and Keimani's child support money. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money, get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Nat Leach, Jennifer Marie Vasquez, that stays in my home without my permission, steals my money, gets in the way of me receiving money. She steals my identity, I heard, for having lost my virginity for me, que tipo tan puerca. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate my homies, what is the sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. What else? War. That's all the food that I have. I'm gonna eat breakfast. You can decapitate Jonah Vargas. You can decapitate Maritza Vargas Lorenzo. You can decapitate Gloria Luis Suarez. That stay in my home without my permission, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Ginny Gentile Lorenzo Suarez, que es una puerca that steals my money and gets in the way of me receiving money, so I get raped. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate David Ledesma. You can decapitate Berlin Jean. You can decapitate Dalia Carrero. You can decapitate Miriam Carrero. You can decapitate Jenisa Munoz Carrero. You can decapitate Caitlin Brown. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate who else? Everyone that stole my money on September 9, 2023. Just sending my GoFundMe campaign to people through Instagram. I could be in a hotel room right now. I could be reading a book here at the library. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. I'm tagging the FBI, this post, NATO, Interpol, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Marines, the Justice Department, the United States, the Department of Homeland Security, the International Criminal Court, maybe the Marines. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Carmiño's Carrero steals my money. That steals Dana's and Kenani's child support money. You can decapitate Stormy right now. Fuck. Anyways. For shop today, I didn't by myself or with Jade and Kenani. These are so cute. Do they have them in more colors? I could be shopping for 30 solid colored t-shirts, 30 solid color pants, 30 solid color, 30 solid color skirts, 30 solid color shoes, 30 solid colored handbags for myself, Jaden Kenani, and wallets. And then adding in custom pieces, 30 custom pieces, 30 prints mixed in between shoes, t-shirts, pants. You can decapitate everyone that steals my money, gets in the way of me receiving money. When poverty is situational and circumstantial, when you want perfection from day one, when you turn into masquejote, is what their dad says to them. It's like they keep digging graves for people. Ew, perfect, thinking that they're perfect inside. They're so gross, so disgusting. Una basura de gente. You wanted to be born right next to a Chanel store? Maybe what? And there's no Chanel store in Puerto Rico. Ew. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money, the way we receive money. What else? Oh, it's cute. I just opened the Hong Kong H&M website. What was I gonna search for? I need to buy cups. I need to transfer money from my savings account to my checking account. What else? You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. What else? Starving. Oh, porque those bitches that I grew up around were like, no le den dinero, ella comiendo first world sola. Sin acordarse de que ella tiene ese papizongo que le mamaría la teta ahora mismo. Porque ella está comiendo. Porque está comiendo en First Watch ahora mismo sin Jenny y Honey. Y él me está texteando, hola mi amor, buenos días, vamos a comer tú y yo desayuno ahora. Ew, 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 ew. You can decapitate me, homie, as far as the sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate las liches que se hacen pasar por mí, que me quieren violar, que me roban mi dinero. Those kids bullied me. Otro Facebook, una asquerosidad. Que gente tan puerca. You can decapitate Swami Cortés Rios. You can decapitate Maria Luisa Rosa. You can decapitate Janitza Martinez. I mean, just Janitza Munoz Guerrero. You can decapitate whoever gets in the way of me receiving money and cause Data and Kehlani to be separated from me. Esta tipa da un asco, son una basura. Ew, 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 ew. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm so bored. So I need to transfer my money. Miss Dana, Miss Good morning. Lord. I'm a Carver library because I don't have a home. I don't have money. I'm in an apartment that the city pays for. However, the electricity has been shut off. I don't have money for that. I'm not an illegal prostitute like mostly everyone in my family of origin, their relatives, neighbors, and colleagues are. So I suffer from starvation for more than 30 years. What else? What else? What else? You can give me money in person through PayPal. PayPal is AR Blue Sky. Blue Sky Designs School. Lo que estoy pensando. Straight to my heart. Arlene Lorenzo Art Shop. INTAYIAFAY. My GoFundMe campaign is gofundme.com/s-arlene-lorenzo-acevedo. You can decapitate me how many sweaters and the sons that terrorize my parents. 10 kids ago, and my parents to starve me. As to trying to rape me for one puerco. He went through my parents for my vagina too. Ew, una asquerosidad. Qué tipo tan puerco. What else? 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 Él se cree que una familia rica no tiene ni más ni botón. El tipo más bruto. Es bruto con cojones. He listens to my siblings that rape him. Ew, 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 ew. Ew, 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 ew. This is so small. Oh, if I want to shower again, I don't have hot water in my apartment. I'm tagging the FBI in this post, NATO, Interpol, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Justice Department. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate me on me as well as the sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. I posted on YouTube. Those nations that I grew up around want to mock me, and they're like, "Ah, you tell all these people and they don't help you, and you use the desperation in your voice. Thank God, but I don't think you don't mind me. I've told already." They're so gross. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. That's what she wants to try to tell me. That's why they steal my money and they get in the way of me receiving money. They would like to sexually harass me privately, not so privately, because they've done that shit in front of people that my parents would be hosting, and I would be so embarrassed that they would be that gross in front of people that my parents would be hosting. Ew, ew, ew. Anyways, you can decapitate my homies, what is the sons that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. Oh, he wants me to starve, like mentioning his name. I eat well and then I don't receive money. I'm the relative of that. And so then towards the last few days, one is like, whatever, like I'll eat peanut butter on bread. But I already proved that what I want to be eating is like that salad, TV, ideally. Pizza, maybe. Soup that I'll cook for myself. And I don't have a way to cook it. What else? 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 You can decapitate me. How many sort of sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. They think that they're the last people that I'm going to think about. If I die of starvation, I won't die of starvation. I have a bus pass for the next month because I allotted money for that. There's food at camp. There's food at Corazon de Center, not to my liking. So that's why I'm tagging the FBI in this post, because my rights are being violated. What he wants for me to do is to be, even here, he's possibly fucked everyone that works at the library on purpose. So that everywhere there I'm in San Antonio, I'm surrounded by people that I have sex with. But what he misses is that I don't talk to anyone else. Not even my children would mock me of such thing. I was like, ha ha, Harley, you didn't have sex today, and I'm banging all these people later tonight. Wow. There's no pride in that. They're disgusting. That's why they created For Her. Ew, 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 ew. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm my own best friend, so I like to just stay to myself. Unless there's books that I could be reading right now. There's a song that I could be dancing to right now. There's a meal that I could be preparing for myself, Jaden Kehlani, right now. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate me, homie, and Suarez Lorenzo's sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. One of them was standing next to me decades ago and say that to me. You can decapitate. That's what you turn into. What else? 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 I don't remember their names. I don't give them importance. I don't know them. What else? 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 I'm just talking the in previous videos because I said that I would and I didn't. What those leeches want to do is starve me so that Joanna Vargas laughs at me. Why is she laughing? Why doesn't she laugh at me in public? In a comment here. They're so gross. They think that what they do privately isn't illegal. So if I were in private group chats and they're like surrounded by las leeches laughing at me, they think that that isn't illegal. As long as the police isn't there, it is illegal. They're so gross. They're disgusting. People already laugh at them at how gross they are. Decades ago, they're like, Nene, based on Arlene's demeanor, you won't have a chance to mock her about Arlene not being able to have sex and you violando y que te violen mientras le robas el dinero a Arlene. I'm not the type to seek chisme or conversation with people that have raped me or steal my money or trying to rape me. You can decapitate Joana Vargas, you can decapitate Jimmy Gentile y Sorenzo Suárez, que ellas lo tienen amenazado de que si no me matan no le maman el pene. You can decapitate Benjamin Suárez Lorenzo's sons that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Lalich. Carolina Chavez that stayed in my home without my permission, stole my vehicle, stole my money, stole my food and my water. You can decapitate Berenice Venegas. People say that these people make it obvious that they rape violently because I'm screaming that I'm hungry and I don't have money for food, and they possibly watch me and they don't do anything to give me dollars. You can decapitate Benjamin Suárez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate everyone that gets in the way of me receiving money. Today is March 23rd, 2025. I'm laughing at those leeches that thought that I'm in love with these men to the point where I wouldn't seek the death penalty for them. They're disgusting. They've raped me. They steal my money. They're trying to facilitate females raping me. There's nothing that I would want with that shit. What else? What else? What else? I'm so bored. So I'm transferring my money from PayPal to my USAA account. So that ideally my USAA account doesn't get closed after I no longer have $25 in it. What else? So, start money for food. Oh, and to say he wants to show me videos how these people that walked in, Boogie profiles them, possibly sent them HGV gift cards at 9 a.m. Or he took them all out to breakfast. They all woke up in his home. Everyone that works here, everyone that's sitting here. And they all had their bellies full and they're having a great lunch today. A eso él se dedica todavía. El tipo de un asco. I don't need a visual of how the rest of the planet is living while I'm suffering. Y el tipo tan bruto. Una asquerosidad. Que me roba mi dinero just trying to give me pictures or videos of how he steals my money. And other people partake in what I should be partaking. Don asco? What is that? Zero intelligence? Ew. You can decapitate Benjamin Suárez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. They treat me less than because supposedly I'm not from a virgin mother. What else? Starving. That should be enough charge for me to get to the library. And then back into my water, into the yogurt. Él me quiere decir que un día él envió a Lily sin dinero a San Antonio y ella mamó bicho ilegalmente y le dieron tanto dinero. todavía, porque él dice que ella no la va a matar por haber mamado pena ilegalmente. Y no complain to police for him raping her and making her suck dick illegally. You can decapitate, what is that, Marilis Gonzalez Soto that lives in competition with me. So gross. Ew, 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 ew. What else? What else? What else? One of these leeches is trying to kill me so that my oldest sibling, inherits my childhood bedroom that I share with my two sisters. He's trying to kill my brother to try to inherit my parents' home that my parents supposedly have sold through a lawyer for after my parents' death for someone to have the home. This leech is trafficking me into poverty, starvation, and homelessness so that I use mismatched clothes so that my sister Marilyn marries him. This leech steals my money and gets in the way of me receiving money because Maria Angelis, he wants Maria Angelis Lorenzo Acevedo to take him, Maria Angelis Avila Lorenzo, to take him out as an illegal prostitute. So, how much can I transfer? I need cups for my apartment. That's like $2. So 61. I'm so bored. You can decapitate team. We put our whole lives on hold for you to have dating Kehlani. Now it's time to rape you, Arlene. They're so gross. They're so gross. You can decapitate Licinales. You can decapitate Maria Luisa Rosa and start to rape me. You can decapitate La Leech, Benjamin Suarez, and his sons that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Jennifer Marie Vasquez. You can decapitate Yesenia Ramirez Lorenzo. You can decapitate, what else? Denitza Muñoz Carrero. You can decapitate Dalia Carrero, La Marlene. You can decapitate who else? I was just at a Marc Anthony concert that they invited me to. They possibly paid for the tickets with money that they steal from me to later on brag about it and get me to kill myself. They do that sometimes. What else? 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 So, I need to first watch money. Unlike these leeches, I'm not an illegal prostitute. You can give me money in person through PayPal, through GoFundMe. What else? 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 Lord, fuck. Anyways, I completed the transfer. When does the bus get here? That's interesting. Did I not check? What is this library? Harvard Library. To North Prestige HB. And Google hasn't been working properly. Anyway, want another. Oh, they don't have them in my size online. These are so cute. These are so cute. I want the black one, the gray one, maybe even the beige one. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? So what he does is he watches me online. I've heard, and he's mad because I don't show my shopping trip. So I was living with Edgar, and I always showed up with different outfits for myself, Diddy and Kehlani. So what he does is just watches me today, possibly con las leashes, and orders them all these t-shirts from H&M that some of them don't even want, and they're like there, pretend to be early. Doesn't know how to give. Yeah, ew. Treats people like less than just because the houses were like this small in comparison to like whoever he met in La India. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Some people don't like cleaning a lot. Some people don't like having staff in their homes. Se lo explicó decades ago. And he goes on to rape people and get raped in Hawaii Chiquito because the houses are so small that people don't deserve respect there, he says. So he wants to kill me because I give respect to everyone and I don't get raped. He wants to show me how they're possibly all in group chats, masturbating to my videos where I'm like, I'm hungry and I'm ready for food. That's capital punishment worthy for these leeches that abuse me. They're gross. What else? What else? What else? I want the dark gray, I want the white one, I want the light blue. Ugh, what is that gray blue? That's not what this is, possibly. They have like a really nice color pink too sometimes that I want. What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Maria Angelisa Aviles Lorenzo. You can decapitate Gilbert Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo sons that raped me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. I want to need a first wash today, not on money. As he threatening people here in the library to take all those magazines out because that shows like that I need a ton of money right this moment that I don't have. El tipo es un bruto, una asquerosidad. Yeah. A dollar penny hoarder, apparently. And penny pincher too wants to kill me to not give me my money and not buy me not even McDonald's. Ew. So Carver Library. To HEB and Rosito. I use some of these and place them in my bag. I need to use the restroom here. It happens. I mock those people that steal from me. They're like, I can't go to date with someone. I need to go to the restaurant because they're sex addicts. So they have a different view of life that shouldn't exist. That's why I'm trying to kill them. In self-defense because I know what the death penalty is. North Rosito. Should I wait for? Oh, I pressed start. I think I have a vehicle. From here. What else? What else? What else? I'll try this again. Entonces, those leeches were planning on pimping me to their colleagues. Ew, 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 ew. Don't ask. They're like, can you forgive or leave for not doing it? My sisters love doing that shit. They get all maquillaje y todo. Para violar. And then one is fine. And they're like, oh, excuse my sister that didn't want to put makeup on today. Ew, 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 ew. Ew, but do I look prettier than her? Pick me, pick me, fuck me. Así viven ellas. Tan asco. What else? You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Giva Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. So, it's the other way around. So, I could leave soon, but I won't make it to the if I need to use the restroom. So, also 204. I'll have to wait. What else? Oh, ya estamos. Do they do that? I've heard that they traffic one into poverty so that one is starving, doesn't have electricity, and they're like, yo estaba vestidito hoy a las 10, como si fuera para la iglesia. Al frente de la computadora viendo nada más y está live o no, desde la biblioteca, like right on time a las 10, o ella no sleeps in, hasta que le da la gana, hasta que su cuerpo dice, ya no tengo cansancio. Ya practicó para mi funeral lo que se va a poner y yo estoy viva y that was 5 years old. They rate me like so more money, so their significant other, I wouldn't want to be this. Doesn't feel any less important. They don't want to admit polyamory exists. They're so gross. They don't like the dick and vagina that they came from decades ago. Because wasn't a married Catholic, or maybe not even. And my parents were like that. They were married Catholic between them, and then they had their other set of people that they had sex with. Doesn't mean que tan pecando. It's just a marriage license. It was also protection. I heard, or maybe he really wanted to marry her. And I also heard that he stayed around a lot more than he wanted to because my mother's an orphan, and with all these leeches around, trying to rape one and stealing money from one and trying to kill one. Like, my dad used to stress a lot about me. He's like, I'm done raising you, but I'm always worried. So he wants me to kill them decades ago when I was a child. Like, that's not in my plans right now. Like, there's so many books that I want to read. I want to take myself out on so many Christmas fairs. I want to eat at so many restaurants alone before I would even think about having sex. What else? There was this trip in Japan. I'm bored. I'm starving. I don't have money for food. What else? 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 You can decapitate by homies, residents, sons. That rape me, I steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money as they still feel their afterlife. And they want to kill me because I'm the daughter of sinners. In the meantime, Guns N' Roses, McDonald's, what else? It's just like the Catholic Church, like for real. They're so gross. In the meantime, I miss Jada, I miss Kaylani. These leeches rape. What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate by all means, sons and sons. That rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. I missed you. I was gonna leave divorce because I'm starving. So, what is it? What is it? What is it I'm looking for here? What's the name of that library near HB on Rostillo? There's a library on West Commerce. You'll get a yogurt, HB, a banana, some brownies. And then head over to the library near there and then head back to the HEB later when I get water for me to drink at my apartment. I can't afford a bottle of water in that size at the moment. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? In the meantime, I'll check my email. That won't work. I'll have to get back to my apartment. Stormy. You can the compensate me how many sodas on the sun that rape me, that's stealing money and getting in the way of me receiving money. I'm laughing at my siblings if they thought that I would remember them. As if I have Alzheimer's or an amnesia that I never remember these leeches. I remember them in 2017, but I don't take myself to the library in downtown San Antonio because I'm not financially stable. So these leeches are like, no le den dinero, deja que se acuerde de Albert. Ew. Deja que se acuerde de Andrew. Deja que se acuerde de Alex. Es poquito semen que le sacan del pene. Les da para vivir todo el día, aparentemente. Da un asco. Da un asco porque ella ha comido en Cheesecake Factory conmigo. Down to that, you can decapitate Berenice Venegas. You can decapitate Benjamin Soares the sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Benjamin Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Jadiel Lorenzo Chaparro de Dios for me. Lost my virginity, gente. Esto es un escándalo que todo el mundo lo sabe. Porque I have no life, literally. I have no money. So people would ask me, it's like, how's your day? I'm like, how's my day? This leech said that he spent the night laughing in my home, stealing my money, and losing my virginity for me with these leeches, que son unos vagos, una asquerosidad. Ew, 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 ew. What is new, Aldo? Let me shoot. What else? What else? What else? In the meantime, they're trying to kill me because they're no, I can't let her say all that. Say to everyone, she wears only custom shoes. Trying to steal money from people. So they hate that. In 2018, I was not bored because I have no man. I only had Jada Kilani, who I take good care of. I'm like, well, because I have no man, I'm just gonna be on Instagram, like following Gucci. Who else did I follow? And they hate that because then there's people that give them money supposedly for me that they never use for me. That they're like, oh, I didn't know that she does ready wear. That better be custom because I've gifted you a lot of money for her. Actually, she's never posted a picture of anything that I've given to you to gift to her. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? They're disgusting. I don't want them near me. You can decapitate Benjamin Soto on the sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. What else? 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 Bored. Bored. Please spare me though. Why isn't she like llorando que la madre se murió? She was murdered by these leeches, most likely. That steal my money, that get in the way of me receiving money, that stay in my homes without my permission, that drive my vehicles without my permission since I was a young teen. So I've never been financially stable. What else? 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 You can decapitate Luis Lorenzo tried to rape me when I was 14, tipo da un asco, una basura. You can decapitate any Gendaleri Lorenzo Suarez that stays in my homes without my permission, la tipa una puerca. I'm sharing my GoFundMe campaign with people in my trials. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Hunger, not on money. I missed it and I missed it. I only want to shop H&M today. I want to visit Jane and Kaimani in Tampa next week. I want to stay at Precarian Hotel. I want to eat at Brio. I want to shop at International Plaza and Bay Street. I want to visit Magic Kingdom with Jane and Kaimani in Lao and Amazon sandwiches. This leech threatened me decades ago to no ir a Amazon sandwiches porque ahí es donde él come con Ginny Jandaliris. Él me roba mi dinero, se deja violar por ella, la viola, da un asco. And he steals my money so I can't eat Amazon sandwiches. You can decapitate Ginny Jandaliris, Lorenzo Suarez. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez, Lorenzo's sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. What else? What else? What else? What else? El tipo es un puerco. El tipo es un puerco, una asquerosidad. He went on, he said, to tie Ginny Jandaliris to my bed in my home with him that she didn't have permission to be in. Ella maneja mi vehículo sin mi permiso para esos monos, people saying. Es una asquerosidad. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and the sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Ginny Jandaliris Lorenzo Suarez que los violan, los quiere matar because they're pretty and because I like them. She steals my money and gets in the way of me receiving money so I can't date because then she's going to be after those people trying to rape them. Ella es una leech, una asquerosa. What else? 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 You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. What else? What else? What else? What else? They terrorized Gloria Nirsa when I was a teen, very young teen, to starve me as to trying to rape me decades ago. They don't want to treat me right to dinner because I'm not a virgin. So they steal my money y le pagan a otra para que se lo mamen. They don't want to give me my money back so I can't date someone else that isn't them when I have no interest in dating them. They would show up to my bedroom unannounced and rape me. What else? 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 I had already sent my GoFundMe campaign to this person. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? They mistreat me and starve me on purpose so that their significant others know that they truly love them and that I'm just a whore that wanted to open my legs for them. For real. That's what he said decades ago. You can decapitate me. I mean, citizens of sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money so I can drink water, so I can eat. So I can't travel, so I can't visit Jada and Kaylani. So that Jada and Kaylani can't live with me. You can decapitate Evelyn Yvette Lorenzo Acevedo. Se me está galeando pene y crica. Es una asquerosa. She gets in the way of my money, steals my money. Trying to control who can get to my vagina. My reality is no one. I just had Jada and Kaylani with Edgar, and that was it. Because I've always been poor. All my money gets stolen from me. What else? 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 You can decapitate David Ledesma that raped me in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. You can decapitate la Lich, Unitenda Lilician Lorenzo Suarez, que me roba mi dinero. She's trying to rape me, Jada and Kehlani. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate Marina Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Gilbert Lorenzo Acevedo, la Lich. Can't fuck me instead of my crushes. Ni recreational, my gente. Y yo no quiero ya. Pero decades ago, ni recreational. Yeah, no, like I accidentally landed on this dick once. Like I did in a bathroom with one of them once. That was it. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? But that was rape. Porque he lured me into a nightclub. For and he steals my money, and I was trying to have a conversation about me getting my money back. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I miss Jada. I miss my money. You can decapitate Lalich, Margarita Correa. You can decapitate Sonia Alvarado Chapman. Since one beggar isn't a good way for one to receive money, that Leech steals my money, gets in the way of me receiving money privately, talks so much crap about me that I don't ever want to find out because I don't want to waste my time knowing what they talk about me. They're insignificant to me. Very, very insignificant to me. They steal my money. They stay in my homes without my permission. Se la pasa fantasizing todavía con eso. How they're trying to rape me. Ew, 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 ew. That's his wife, Margarita Correa. Ew. Oh. Qué gente tan puerca. Ew, 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 ew. You can decapitate me. I mean, citizens, the sense that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Margarita Correa. When does the bus get here? So I'm heading over to HEB to get water, a yogurt. I have like $7 to buy food, but I need to save some money for tomorrow. My food stamps got deposited in 2 days. That's still not enough money for food. My electricity has been shut off. So what they're playing behind the scenes is, please excuse Arlene for being irresponsible. And they steal all my money. But they're like, wow, hasn't paid her electricity bill. Irresponsible. I have no money to pay an electricity bill. How do they get away with starving me for more than 30 years? They're so disgusting. Ew, 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 ew. Que gente tan puerca. Qué tipa tan puerca, qué asquerosidad eso. You can decapitate Berenice Venegas. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Evelyn Yvel Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Evelyn Yvel Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Jiva Lorenzo Acevedo. They're trying to put me in a wheelchair and trying to bait me. They got away with doing that with Gloria Risa, so gross, seeing her naked every day. Ew. Ew, 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 ew. Sono tan puercafo. Ew, 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 ew. I would need a place on those amount of money. You can decapitate Claudia Gabriela Martinez Urias that stays in my homes without my permission. You can decapitate Evelyn Yvel Lorenzo Acevedo que me roba mi dinero and gets in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Edgar Munoz Carrero that steals Jaden's and Kehlani's child support money. You can decapitate whoever trafficked me into poverty so I would end up working at Gap. One of my primas they were trying to kill decades ago. So because I found out and I spoke up and I got people to give her money for her to live, they're retaliating against me and turning me into a Latina poor when I'm not even Latina, just to run into me at a bus trying to rape me. They're so gross. Behind the scenes, they try to control because I witnessed that. They suck a significant amount of dick, people say, and extort people and threaten people and put guns to people's heads, trying to get vouchers from the city to be sent at a specific time, trying to get people hired in jobs at a certain time. They're disgusting full. Una asquerosidad. That's Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's wife's son that I saw at bus 647, possibly. And then I saw Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons at Corazon Day Center, que son unos puercos, una asquerosidad, una basura. Ew, 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 ew. There were like 3 of them there last year. Ew, 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 ew. Anyways, starving. If I see the library and I can remember how far to walk back, I will. I need a... What else? I need water. I need yogurt. I'm gonna die today. Just because I haven't had anything to eat. I really need a slice of bread with peanut butter earlier, very early into the morning when it was dark. I ate a banana. Oh, this is 3 people watching, 3 have liked this post. People go through years talking to these leeches. What I'm saying every day, I'm hungry, I need money, I don't have money. Someone please give me money. If you know of someone, please tell them so that they give me money. And they hear people with that plea for years, sometimes decades. And people get to the point where I'm at right now, where my electricity has been shut off from my apartment. I have not received $1 from these leeches. They're so gross. So that's why I spend a lot of my time, if you're like in the police and you don't know that, that's why I spend a lot of my time alone and I'd rather be posting live. Porque talking to my family of origin would have given me the same result unless I would have agreed to illegally prostitute myself, which I won't, unless they would have sexually harassed me and I would have enjoyed it and I don't. So I witnessed a lot of people while I was growing up go for years, at least 2, 3 years, talking to people in the family and still not progressing financially. It's been more than 5 years since I've been asking for money, and there's no progress in my life. These leeches are so gross. They're rapists, they're murderers, and thieves. Ew, ew, ew. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me to steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Ebony Valores Acevedo. You can decapitate Johnny Lorenzo Chaparro. You can decapitate Mario Lorenzo Acevedo. I'm heading to the bus stop.